Before we get started with today's video, we'd just like to remind you, if you get any value out of these videos, if you enjoy them, to please either click on a like, make a comment if you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, or even subscribe to our YouTube channel. So what's happened again yesterday, today is September 8th, and the recording of this video was the Bank of Canada raised interest rates again, another 3/4 of a point. Reason they're doing this is they're trying to get inflation under control. What I'd like to do is give you an idea of what this means to your monthly mortgage payments to start. So the average cost of a property in the Lower Mainland, a condo, a townhouse, a detached house, the average cost in the month of August was $1,130,000. So let's talk about what the payment would be on that property. So if you have 20% down, $240,000, we'll call it $240,000, and you have a mortgage left of $900,000, your monthly mortgage payment will now be $5,400 a month, just for the mortgage part of it. Then if you bought a strata property, let's say your strata fees will be another $500, and your taxes would be another $300, giving you a payment of $6,200 a month for this property. Back in January, to give you an idea how much rates have risen, your mortgage payment would have been $4,400 in total, $1,800 less. I'm talking about all in. So instead of $6,200, it would have been $4,400 for this property, which was a big nut to chew on back then. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the course of the fall. Prices have been declining since April, and it's not tanking. This market is not crashing, but it is slowly coming down. To give you an idea, the average price for a house on the west side of Vancouver has dropped 4%. In Ladner, 7%. North Vancouver, 8%. For a townhouse, the biggest drops are Tsawwassen and Ladner. They're both down 8%. West side, 5%. And for a condo, this is real interesting. Condos in Ladner and Tsawwassen have gone up 7 and 8% over that period of time, while the rest of the condo market around the Lower Mainland has been declining. So interesting times. We also have list to sell ratios, the overall list to sell ratios in the Lower Mainland. For a detached house, we are looking at a buyer's market. I believe the figure was 12%. But the townhouse and condo markets are still sellers' markets. The lower ends of those markets are still getting multiple offers, not nearly as much and not the crazy over asking prices there were before, but it still tells us there's a big demand. So while prices are coming down, we have sellers' market conditions, which probably could only happen in the wild and crazy world of Vancouver real estate. So moving on from that, the question I get frequently is, when are prices going to go up again? Is the market going to crash? Those are the two questions I get. So the answers I give you are, is the market going to crash? I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer that. I can tell you exactly how we got here. Where it's going, the experts don't even know, and I'm certainly not an economist. But what they're trying to do is get inflation under control. Interest rates will not start to come back down until they get inflation under control, and that's when we should see things start to level off. How long that takes, your guess is as good as mine. This is the 5th time since I've been a realtor in 30 years that I've seen, not just a little blip, but a market correction. It's a little different this time than I've seen in the past. In the mid-90s, we had a correction for 5 or 6 years when BC was just messed up economically and riddled with political scandals for the 15 years previous to that. The next thing we saw was the 2008 banking crisis, where it was supposed to be financial Armageddon and the world was going to implode financially. Then in 2016, we had the foreign buyers tax come in, which saw the market trickle down for 2 or 3 years. But none of these things happened because of interest rates rising. The last time we had a major correction in the market when interest rates rose was the early 1980s, when we were all a heck of a lot younger, and I wasn't even a realtor in those days. So that's what concerns me most about this market. we're starting to see some interesting things that we haven't seen for a while, and some of the things concern me, but this one doesn't. Assumable mortgages. With interest rates rising, this is a term that probably a lot of people aren't even familiar with. But back in the 80s, before I was a realtor again, if someone had a lower interest rate than you and they were selling their home and they weren't going to buy another one, you could assume that mortgage for that portion, their mortgage, if you qualified with their bank. So we're starting, I've seen a couple of listings come through with that. Court-ordered sales. They aren't happening yet, but they're going to. Another one of my big concerns is people who got their mortgages in September, October, November of 2017, and they took a 5-year term, and now their terms are coming up and they're going to have to renew their mortgages. What are their payments going to be like? Some of them are going to see their payments go up dramatically, 50, 60% type of things. So that's a big concern of mine. We're also starting to see offers come in well below asking. I've seen some of my listings get offers 20 and 25% below asking. This is people who think the market is crashing and they can come in and make these crazy offers and someone's going to bite at them. My answer is, you're too early. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Anything's possible. But if it does happen, you need to wait. Because if those things are going to happen, I predict they'll start to happen in November and December, when people have been sitting around a while and the market's had a chance to readjust. Average selling times are escalating. For the last couple of years, it was pretty much, if you priced your home right and set up the bidding war, your house would sell within 5 days. So average selling times are getting up to 3 weeks and over a month in some areas now. The other thing we're seeing is a lot of the media and self-professed real estate experts now start predicting that the market's going to crash. Well, I've got newspaper articles going back to 2009 telling us that this market's going to crash. So Vancouver's a unique place. The one thing that all the experts don't factor into it, I don't think clearly enough, is there's already a major housing shortage in Vancouver, and 45 or 50,000 people are coming to this city every year. The housing shortage isn't going to get any better with all of these people coming in. How are they ever going to fix that? Sounds to me like it's an unfixable problem. And the last one, and the biggest concern I have, pre-sales. In Vancouver, people play the pre-sale market like the stock market, and they have no way of closing on. If they go in and buy 3 units, they're planning on flipping them in an escalating market. Well, the market's not escalating. There's going to be no market for them to flip them if they're worth less than before, and these people will have no ability to close. So there's no way of knowing how much of that is out there or how much of that is going on, because the individual developer is the only one that knows that. But could they possibly take some developers down with them if there's enough of them doing that in each building? That's it for this time. I hope you got some value out of this. Again, if you got any enjoyment or value out of it, please click the thumbs up button, make a comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Jamie Hooper with RE/MAX Crest, and we'll be back again soon with another video.